Hello, Dr. Jeanette Raymond, psychologist, psychotherapist, and relationship expert, here with part 3 of my series on how your unconscious relationship rules can wreak havoc in your personal connections and stop you from being satisfied and fulfilled no matter how hard you try. So today I'm going to tell you about a man in his 30s who was married for a few years and he had a particular relationship rule that never worked, and he would get furious about it, and when it didn't work he would go to a place of anger and panic that his marriage was going to end, his wife was going to walk out on him, he'd be alone again, and he might as well not have bothered. And this particular relationship rule went something like this. When I'm ready to talk to you about my feelings, about what's going on between us, about any arguments we may have had or issues that we don't agree on, you have to be ready at exactly the same moment. You have to be willing to put everything else aside. You have to match my feelings in that exact moment, in that exact way, and in the same fashion, so that we can actually communicate. Well, as you can imagine, that rarely happened because his wife is a separate human being and may have had other things on her mind. She may have been sick, she may have been in a bad mood, she may not have been able to talk about what he wanted to talk about when he wanted to talk about it. So he would hear it as her dismissing him and not caring about him. Here he was making an effort to talk because she complained that he didn't want to talk, and now when he does, she's not ready. And he just could not understand or appreciate that their rhythms don't always have to coincide, and it doesn't have to be that there's something wrong with their marriage if she's not able to meet him in exactly the same place at the same time in the same way just because he's ready. So he really had to do a lot of work on what he meant by feeling equal. And this is what he meant, that they have to be on the same page at the same time in exactly the same way, in exactly the same feeling place, and be willing to do everything. The fact that there may be some seesawing going on, and that they have to compromise and find a time and place, an emotional place where they were almost equal in that place, was very, very strange and foreign to him. And what I helped him understand was that being equal means you see yourself in similar roles, not in the sense of I'm the kid who needs you right now and you have to attend to me because my feelings are so big, and you have to be the parent putting all your stuff aside and taking care of me. Or the other way around, him having to wait for her until she's ready, so he becomes the parent then and she's the child. So what I meant by being equal was that you play the same role. You're equals in terms of partners, co-parents, doing jobs together in the house, sharing things financially and everything else. What he meant by being equal, and this was his unconscious rule that kept getting in the way, was you have to be ready when I am to talk. And if you're not, it means you have failed me as a spouse. And therefore, this relationship doesn't work, our marriage doesn't work, and we're headed for divorce. Well, of course, I helped him to work on that. And he eventually realized that this rule was something he'd grown up with as a kid because his parents didn't talk to him and they didn't care about his feelings. And when he did try, they weren't able to respond. So he had a rule that if a relationship was a good one, the people he wants to talk to at the time when he's ready, they have to be ready too. Otherwise, it's not a good relationship. And it was ruining his marriage because it caused more and more dissension, arguments, disharmony, until I helped him appreciate that he was operating on this rule and how unrealistic it was. And he made good strides. And I hope you will too when you discover what your unconscious, outmoded relationship rules are so that you can readjust them and make them more appropriate for the situation that you're in. But please take a moment to write some notes for me underneath in the comments box. I would love to know what you think, what this stirs up for you, what it reminds you of, what you'd like more of, how it helped you, how it didn't help you, anything. Just write some comments and help me understand where you're coming from and what you'd like. And then in my next video, I'll be sharing some more relationship rules within the marriage context.